Go. All right, so again, I'm going to go ahead and pray to start our Zoom, and hopefully at the end, if you have some questions, we'll have a little bit of time to try and answer them. But until then, we're going to introduce all your students' teachers and try to go over some key information about what's going on this year. So please pray with me. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the chance to have some of our parents here, new and old, and share about ourselves and the amazing team that you have placed here to teach their students. I pray that you would give us clarity to share how we are working hard to make this unique year one of the best years that we're going to have. I pray that you would give us your blessing in this meeting, you'd give us your blessing in this year, and that you'd give us the wisdom to know best how to teach in these extraordinary times. Be with us and guide us, God, and watch over us. In your name, amen. All right. Once again, welcome to the Senior School GLOO here at SPH-PV Village. I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to our first teacher, who will go ahead and introduce this subject.
Hello, parents. Good morning. So this year, things are looking very similar as they did to the year before, except that we are adding in an additional general music class, which is more of a focus on composition theory and studying musical influence and genre. And so what is involved with our general music class portion is a lot of discussion and dialogue and communication. And so my only encouragement when it comes to your student in home learning and general music is that you encourage them to be as open to discussing what they're listening to as they would any other subject. And so I'm very encouraged. I've had a few class sessions already with your students, and I'm looking forward to being able to continue to work with them in general music. And then in addition to general music, we are also going to be continuing our band program, of course, and that is going to be meeting twice a week. Oh, I actually have slides on here. Okay, can you go to the next slide then? So this is older photos of me and my wife, Miss Jessie. This is our 4th year here. We're very excited to begin again. And on the picture on the right is actually some of your students who performed in a concert a few years ago. Go ahead. Great. Okay, so my focus for us in band is to have 30 minutes of practice 5 days a week. So that can be any of the 5 days. You can take weekends off. You can practice on a weekend instead of a weekday. It's up to your children what works best for them. You'll be regularly submitting evidence of practice to me, and we will not be using Seesaw for that anymore. There is a program online called Smart Music that I could talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But I'm just going to go ahead and sum up the ideas of smart music really quickly for you, which is the idea that smart music is a instant feedback musical submission program, meaning that students can follow along the music they're learning and be able to actually receive immediate feedback as to whether or not they're playing something correctly or if they're playing something incorrectly. And so it's going to be great because I can assign anything on it I want. I can assign our actual music. I can assign warm-ups and practices, and it gives them instant feedback without having to always ask me, or heaven forbid they ask their parents who may or may not know anything about the instrument. So this is a way for them to be able to be more independent and be able to own their own practice times. And it should actually encourage them to practice more because of how interactive it is for them to use. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to roll into that by as early as Monday next week. I require on-time attendance to each of my classes and my band rehearsals. And right now they've been doing an awesome job with that, especially with home learning. They've been on time and doing excellent work. And of course, as always, focus during all of our time together. Go ahead. Yeah, so this one is outdated slightly because this is what the plan was before basically yesterday. We won't be using Seesaw. Well, we will technically be using Seesaw for the rest of the week, but we'll be switching over to this other program, Smart Music. And if you have more questions about that, you're welcome to email me about it, and I can walk you through or send you some information about it. Teams will be our in-class communication platform. ManageBack is going to be where students will receive communication regarding their homework and any submissions I'm requiring of them for general music class. Like I said before already, band submissions will all be done through Smart Music, and it's really intuitive and really useful, so we'll be using that. And also, yep, the last piece is be aware that we may be adding that additional piece of technology is Smart Music, but I'll be walking through that with your students. Next one. And then the behavior expectations for students. So far, not a problem at all. But students need to follow all the policies in the handbook. Cameras got to be on. You know, students have to be in uniform, and I need them to bring those 4 things to even our Zoom calls every day. So pencil, paper, instrument, and water. Next. And this is my last one. I think this is my last slide, okay? Home learning creates so many challenges. I don't want to pretend like it's not challenging for every other grade, but sometimes I think about teaching music through home learning, and it makes my head hurt. It's just, it's hard to keep kids accountable, and it's hard to know exactly where everyone's at. And I'm going to be biased and say, especially in music, music is just a challenge to teach online. It's not designed that way, and it's definitely not the way I prefer to teach it. But one thing you can do, and one thing I can do, and one thing we all can do to be helpful for our students is to encourage them to practice every day. If you haven't heard them play their instrument that day yet, ask them to play it. Even if it's a tiny amount of time, the fact that they're spending time on it every day will help them grow faster and become better musicians. And the better someone gets at something, the more they appreciate what they're doing. And the only way to get good at something is to practice it. And the only way enjoyment is going to be found is when they find success in practice. And they'll find those moments of success for themselves will always be when they're practicing. Even as a student myself, and maybe some other people in this Zoom call who have been a part of ensembles or who have had to learn an instrument, my moments of greatest joy were when on my own in my practice time, I figured something out that I couldn't do before. And so I encourage you to continue to be a support, an awesome support network for your children. Please partner with me to help them succeed and to be able to be good practicers so that they're good performers. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John. And this is my turn now. So you have known me. I'm Adi, and I'll be teaching Bahasa Indonesia and also PPKN in for your kids. So this school year, I will be teaching grade 6 until grade 9. So please go to the next slide. Okay, next. Yeah, I don't need to share a lot about my family. So this is my wife and my 2 children. So one is 3 years old and the other one is in grade 5. Next, please. So as you know, I've been teaching since 2007, and I've been teaching from grade 1 until grade 12 for various subjects, and also I have various roles in my previous schools, starting from homeroom teacher, subject teacher, and so on. And this is my 2nd year to be in SPH. So last year was my 1st year in SPH, and however, overall, I'm entering my 14 years of teaching. Okay, next please. Yeah, about Bahasa Indonesia and PPKN. No, the first one, would you please click one more time, Mr. John? Yeah, okay, one more time. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the books first. So the first one is about Bahasa Indonesia. So for Bahasa Indonesia, so sorry, it's a little bit I put wrong information over there. I'm so sorry. So Bahasa Indonesia for grade 7 until 8, we will be using K13. So it's like Dinas curriculum. But for grade 9, we will be using Cambridge IGCSE. So for grade 9. And then for PPKN, we will still be using Dinas curriculum. And I have uploaded for the Dinas curriculum, I've uploaded both books for PPKN and also Bahasa Indonesia in the Manage Pack last Friday. So if your child haven't got that book, please ask them to go to Manage Pack, click the calendar, and find the books which I have uploaded on Friday, last Friday. And then about Bahasa Indonesia and also PPKN in general, especially Bahasa Indonesia, we'll have projects, and then we have tests, pop-up quizzes, novel reading, and also presentations. And we hope that learning from past experience, so I hope that you would like to help me to encourage your kids to read the novel thoroughly. So, and also I need your help for to so that they at least spend time, yeah, to check the assignment in Manage Pack, and then turn in also turn in also assignment in the Manage Pack online on time. Okay, I think that's what I can share. If you have any further questions, you can email me also. Thank you.
All right, the Mandarin teachers unfortunately are teaching right now and unable to make it. So I just wanted to introduce them all to you. And while anyone who's not here, I'll introduce. Mr. Tim also sends his apologies that he wasn't able to make it and open our GLOO. There's an important meeting with the heads of school that he's in right now. And just lots and lots of things they have to figure out with the changing situation and working to make this year the best we possibly can for your kids. So he sent his apologies. As well, this are our Mandarin team, Bang Lao Shi, Li Zhang, and Luo Lao Shi. And I'm sure I got their names half right. They teach multiple levels of Mandarin throughout 789 and have kind of organized the kids by their ability. So Luo Lao Shi is in her 5th year teaching. She's teaching K1, K2, grade 1, grade 2, and the grade 7 in one of the classes. A little information about her. She graduated from the National University of Kaohsiung, Taiwan, as a Master in Education Technology in Early Childhood, and has some class expectations for your kids that they would be respectful and responsible, and is focused on Mandarin on 4 language skills, and these are their assessment objectives. You'll see them on their tasks if you check them on ManageBack, as well as on the report cards. They're speaking, they're listening, they're reading, and they're writing. And I'll maybe get a little more about that with the ability to check ManageBack for assessment grades later as we get into it. So, Ms. Hannah?
Okay, hello. You can go to the next slide, I think, on there. Okay, so I'm Miss Hannah, and a little bit about myself. I think you can scroll through a couple of the points on there. But besides loving God, a couple of the things that I love are horses and animals. My family has a farm, so I got to spend a lot of time there during last term home learning, but I'm back in Indonesia now. And I also love your children, so my students. I love doing science with them and learning with them and just growing with them. So we hope that they can be back here soon. This is my 4th year teaching science at SPH. So I'm the grade 7-1 homeroom teacher, and I teach science to all senior school. Feel free to email me if you ever have any questions. We're trying to make science as interactive as possible online as much as we can because we're not in the lab. But we have a lot of cool things planned, a lot of technology. So I have a link there, and we'll send this PowerPoint to you later. And you can go to some of the different kinds of things of technology I'll be using just to kind of see what your kids are doing. Next slide. So about science, we have a lab tech, Miss Lydia. So I'll let her introduce herself in a second. She helps me with setting up things in the lab, and currently she's setting up experiments we can just show the students so they can kind of work with us and see what happens and make hypotheses still. As well as she helps to just explain some of the ways that we behave in the lab, how to use instruments and things. So in science, we learn some skills, so not only investigations and stuff in the lab, but we do project-based learning, which is very individualized. We try to make it authentic and have your students create projects. In the end, they have something tangible. And again, it'll be look a little bit different at home, but we're gonna try to incorporate that as much as possible. So as far as content goes, that integrates in with the projects, but we also have a lot of standards and things that your kids need to know moving forward that can help them in life and also in further grades. So with grades 7 and 8, we cover 3 stages of Cambridge Secondary 1, and they are all a mix of biology, chemistry, physics, and inquiry skills. In grade 9, we do IGCSE, so that's biology, chemistry, and physics. And so we'll cover half of it in grade 9, and in the future, when we have grade 10, we'll cover the other half. So they'll get the whole curriculum there. So Miss Lydia, if you would like to introduce yourself, you can go ahead. I think she's here.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, parents from grade 7 until 9. My name is Miss Lydia. I'm graduate from UPH, and then this is my second year in UPH, in SPH, and then I'm more work and involved with Miss Hannah in science class. Also, as Miss Hannah explained before, that I'll be set up for the lab and then for the experiment if we have in science, so we can more interactive, and then the science class will be more fun in school, and then home learning too. Thank you.
All right, English is me. You can go to the next slide if you don't mind. Students call me Mr. Eves. This is an old picture of me and my daughters and my wife. My daughters are now in grade 3 and grade 1. And so I have somewhat of an insight what it's like to be teaching kids at home. Hence the headphones today. I have to keep their noise out while I teach. And I like to see that while we're going. And so I do know that none of us like home learning, but I hope you're seeing some things for the senior school students that are useful skills for the future. In English, I'm trying to work on especially reading, writing, and speaking. They listen to all their teachers in English every day already, so that's pretty good for most of our students. But being able to make presentations in English is very important. We do a lot of that in English class in all grades. Reading, grade 8 and 9 should already have gotten a novel when you came and pick up materials. And grade 7 will be choosing their own novel, which it's okay if they do that digitally this term and things like that. But we're just working on getting comfortable in using all of these skills. For middle school, speaking skills is pretty hard. I would love to have them give speeches during like Zoom meetings, but that's not usually possible with them. And so they're going to be producing videos and things like that, which again, should be very useful if they decide to be YouTubers in the future or something like that. So can you go next slide? So yeah, grade 9, we get into a little bit of philosophy and things like that. The idea with grade 9, especially this year and last year, was that they need to become independent learners as much as possible. Home learning has forced them to do that even more than usual. But the idea is you don't know who your teachers are going to be in the future. You don't know what schools you're going to go to. And so you need to be responsible for your own learning and finding things that you are interested in and the reasons why you are learning. So beyond just grammar, that's some of the things we do, especially in grade 9. Real easy. Everything I do communicating with students is on Teams. And so we have video class on Teams. I chat with them on Teams. The fastest way to get a hold of me is on Teams. But when they submit their homework, they submit it on ManageBack, and ManageBack that parents can see has the schedule there and all their assignments and things like that. So parents have a general idea of what's going on in their students' classes. And it's good to look at because you'll see there's a huge long list of tasks every day that students go through. And I've been very impressed that students can work through them, and they've been much more organized this year than last term. And so that's it for my class. Everything on Teams, and homework is submitted on Manage Back. If students have a problem, they can always contact me on Teams. And if you have a question, you can email me or just kick your student off their computer and say, can I use your Teams for a little bit and chat with me? That would be fine. So I think that is it for English. Oh, these are the things we'll study each term. It'll be in the slides when you get them later if you're interested in the types of things that we do during class.
Good morning, parents. My name is Stephanie, and I teach math for senior school, so from 7th grade until 9th grade, and next year will be 10th grade. Okay, next slide. Again, I lived in Jakarta, so I am from Jakarta, but I moved to Texas until I was in university. So when people ask where you're from, I get confused. Is it Jakarta or is it Texas? So I'll say both. And I graduated summa cum laude from Harper University with Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. And I graduated also from IB World Schools in Texas. So my middle school and high school are both IB World Schools. And I came from a very academic-oriented family. So my dad is a professor, and my aunt, my uncle, they're all professors or teachers. So yeah, they're my inspiration to be a teacher. My goal is to show mathematics through a Christian perspective. I went to public schools in middle school and high school, and then I went to a Christian college. Both are different experiences, and I wanted to share with the students this unique Christian perspective in mathematics. Next slide. And this is our curriculum. So we're using Cambridge, and like science, 7th and 8th are gonna do, for math, it will be the whole stage 7 and half of stage 8. And for the 8th grade, it will be half of stage 8 and the whole stage 9. And then for 9th grade, we'll use the IGCSE curriculum. All of your students will be in the extended curriculum. It will cover more, and it will be in a faster rate as well. The content that we'll be going through are very similar in each stage. We're gonna be doing number and calculation in first stage, and then algebra, geometry and measure, and handling data or probability and statistics. And in 9th grade, we have a little extra trigonometry. So most students enjoy that stage because it's new and it's really exciting. Okay, next slide. All right, for 9th grader parents, I did put TI-84 plus graphing calculator on your students' what is it called? Supplies list, yes. So what this calculator does is it graphs and it analyzes data, and it's a good tool to have. And I require every student in 9th grade to have this calculator. And you can purchase this on Tokopedia, or you can also buy it used from a friend or other students from other SPH campuses. And why do we need this? Again, when your students are taking the IGCSE exam, this calculator will come in handy. And when you're allowed to use a calculator and save some time, you should use the calculator. So if you have questions about anything, you can contact me again through Teams or email. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much.
All right. Miss Dinda as well is teaching another class, and so she's unable to join us. So I will introduce her for her a little bit. She was born in Bandung and moved to Singapore. She graduated with honor from Loughborough University in the UK with a Bachelor of Arts in Graphic Communications. She loves showing students how to become more creative. She's an art teacher with 6 years experience in international school settings, including having taught for 2 years at our SPH-PV campus, doing a bit of the IB, PYP, and the DP program. So she's familiar with teaching from the young kids to the old kids, even older than our kids get at our campus, and knows where they're going to need to be able to go to succeed if they go into DP art in the future after they leave Fluid Village. We're really excited to have her as a full-time art teacher again. Her expectations are for the regular submission of art project progress, so that she can see the work the students are doing on the projects throughout, a one-time attendance to each class session on time, and then focus during class sessions, of course, is an expectation for her and for all of us, and one that we'll be trying to help your students maintain, and we'll need your help helping your students maintain. For Cambridge Art, again, grade 7 and 8 are doing lower secondary, and grade 9 is starting in GCSE art. Probably we'll see where that goes with grade 10, but we have a split there. So this is maybe worth noticing here is some of the kids took music and some of the kids took art in 9th grade. In our earlier years, we have them take both, but in 9th grade, we're having them choose, and they're choosing that program for 2 years so that they can go a little deeper. So if you're a 9th grade parent, your child is either taking art or music, and that way they can get a deeper understanding of those subjects when we need a little more time to make sure they're ready for all their core Cambridge subjects and the preparation. All right, Ms. Rachel.
Hello, it is good to see you guys again, parents. It is a joy for my second year now to be the chaplain here at Fluid Village. John, you can go to the next slide, please. So this year I am teaching grades 7, 8, and 9 and senior school. I've passed off the grade 6 Bible to Miss Kimberly and Miss Irma. So if you also have grade 6 kids, I will not be teaching them this year like I taught grade 6 last year. But it's pretty exciting because all of your students who have been here for a few years, I had them in grade 5, and now I have them in senior school Bible again. And so that's a really fun foundation to be able to have with them. One of my favorite things to do is to share old photos with the kids. They also love laughing at each other. So if you have any really classic pictures of the kids from when they were really little, just send them my way and they'll make it into some lessons and give the kids a good laugh at themselves. And yeah, so this year again, I am the chaplain Bible and as well as the social emotional support for our school community. Our teachers do an awesome job with that at building relationships with the kids, and I'm an extra level of support with that. And it is one of my favorite opportunities in my job is to be able to build relationship and get to have some really good conversations with your children regarding their spiritual growth, regarding social situations, and emotional support that they need as well. So if you are concerned at all about anything or have some questions, please let me know. And I would love to be able to talk with your kids or talk with you about the best way to help your children thrive this year. Middle school, early high school is a really awkward time for a lot of kids, especially when they're learning online and don't get to have those social interactions. So please, I would love to be able to be an extra support for you all. I also attend chapels for grades 1 to 9, and we'll be visiting some classes and everything as well. Online, that looks a little bit different than in person, but yeah. And coordinating MSL, we're not quite sure what that all is going to look like because of our inability right now to be able to go different places in Jakarta and serve, but really looking forward to finding creative ways to serve others. Yeah, so that's about me. Oh, the picture there is me in the US over the summer. I got to go visit my college town for the first time since I graduated 8 years ago. So please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'd love to get to know you as parents as well if I don't know you already. So shoot me an email for that. I love getting to know your kids. It's one of the things I love about my job, is that part of it is just getting to know them, to support them and love on them and help them realize how awesome they are. So yeah. You are going to be getting a letter from me probably tomorrow, and it is going to explain the way that I am going to be doing grading and reporting for Bible. Those of you who are parents of 9th graders this year, or if you have students who were in 8th or 9th grade last year, or have older siblings or whatnot. I've changed the way that we do grading for Bible after quite a bit of research into what helps kids be motivated. And for our goal of Bible class is not just to have the kids be getting good grades. I truly believe and truly hope that your kids are learning and growing spiritually and personally, as well as academically. And so the way that I do reporting for Bible looks different. They will not be getting number grades 1 to 7 anymore. The reporting is going to be based off of comments regarding a rubric, a detailed rubric that we have. And they will be getting detailed comments regarding their growth and ways that they can improve in their knowledge and their understanding and their skills. And the hope with that is that they will be inspired not just to learn facts about the Bible or learn the stories or memorize the verses just so that they can write it down on a test or complete a project that looks really cool, but so that they truly are inspired to read the Bible for themselves, that they are inspired to become better people, and to be able to serve the world around them. So yes, please let me know if you have any questions. The detailed letter that will be coming probably tomorrow for you. And then I look forward to engaging in conversation with you about how we can help your kids grow.
All right, thank you. If you couldn't tell by the map behind me, I am the social studies teacher as well, and the grade 9 homeroom teacher, in addition to being the curriculum coordinator. And I'm Mr. John. I love going out and exploring things, which is why I chose to teach social studies. Let me share a little about myself, and then we'll get into just some things I think about our school program this year. I taught 6 years at our SPH-PV Village campus, and now this is my, and during that time I taught grade 9 to 10 social studies, as well as 3 years of IB diploma program geography. I was the head of the humanities department there. This is my 3rd year teaching at Fluent Village in grades 7 through 9. I'm excited for our expansion into 10th grade next year, so I can teach your kids as they get a little older. I already mentioned that. So what do we study in social studies class? What does that even mean? It is, for any of you grade 7 parents, a little new in that they didn't have a specific social studies subject in grade 6. Really, mostly what we're studying is history, and we're studying the history of the world. So what I've put together over the course of grade 7, 8, and essentially the first half of 9 is a survey of world history with a special focus on Indonesia and its place in world history. So I take a term each year and do a study of Indonesian history from pre-colonial and then colonial and then into the Indonesian Republic. Basically, as it connects to the history that we're studying around the rest of the world, we do a special focus on what was happening in Indonesia, how did that affect it? And that gets really fun. It helps the kids, I think, see Indonesia in a broader context because, of course, they're also getting civics and stuff in their Bahasa classes. So there's a focus on that, on understanding essentially how the modern world came to be and what led to the political systems like democracy that Indonesia now embraces, what led both within Indonesia and outside Indonesia to that, as well as hopefully an understanding of kind of the forces that have shaped the world we live in. So that when they read the news, when they grow up, they'll have a good understanding of how we got here, what mistakes were made, and what we can do better. In grade 9, it takes a shift after the first half. Global Perspectives is an IGCSE course that really focuses on skills development and conceptual understanding rather than specific content knowledge. So we finish up our study of history under the topics of conflict and peace and human rights. That's where we get to things like World War II, the Cold War, and some of the recent human rights issues that have gone on throughout the world in the last century. And then after that, we move into more study really of today. It's not even history, it's just the world today, looking at poverty, globalization, biodiversity. Disease is going to be a hugely relevant theme going forward when we study that, having all of us lived through this pandemic. And so it becomes an extremely relevant topic as we take that understanding of the past and now we apply it to the world today and give the students a better understanding of that. We also work on research skills, group work skills, and writing skills and presentation skills. Those are kind of the major focuses, critical thinking skills. I'm going to take some time in that to help the students learn how to assess sources on the internet and look for fake news and identify that. It's super relevant, and it's stuff that I think will really engage them in grades 9 and 10 as we dig into that in some of those units. There are 3 major assessments for the IGCSE that they have to do over the course of grade 9 and 10. Most of that will be in grade 10, but we may do one of them in grade 9. There's an individual report, a large research paper, a group project, which is it's a form of a really big PBL that we have to do. It's really cool. They can pick a topic they're interested in and really dig in deep, and then there will be a written exam. But the exam for GP is a little different, probably than most exams you would think of, in that really it's a skills exam. So they will be, I will teach them the skills of how to analyze opinions and facts and things, and then they'll be exposed to brand new material and have to identify those things in the exam. It's a little different. It's not a study for 50 hours and memorize everything kind of exam. So we're going to work on preparing them for all of that throughout the next 2 years. Why do we study social studies? Why do we even have this? Well, hopefully I've already sold you in understanding it, but essentially, and not to pick on Miss Hannah because she does an amazing job teaching science, but science teaches us how we could clone a Tyrannosaurus Rex, how we could make an atomic bomb, how we could fill in the blank. And humanities, it's our job over here to say, should we? Is that actually a good idea? What might the consequences be? That's not to say scientists don't consider ethics, but our job in humanities is to help bring that part in so that we have both parts. Both we have the knowledge of how to do things, and then we consider, should we, why should we, what are the benefits, what are the consequences, is this actually a good idea? By doing that, we help to provide a holistic education to your students. This is a quote I love. I've got it in here every year, and it's something I want to emphasize to the kids. Excellence is being better tomorrow than we are today. And that is our goal as a campus at Blewett Village, as a school, is that our teachers are working hard to make our quality of education better every year, whether there's a global pandemic or not. We are trying to provide absolute top-notch quality education. All of us on this team are working hard, improving our craft. We're always going over our lessons and saying, how can we fix this? How can we improve this? What can we make better? What new ideas can we add in? And we want your students to adapt, your children to adapt that mentality as well. How can they be better tomorrow than they are today? Wherever they're at, whatever level. Grades are just a measure of where you're at. They're not a measure of anything else. And so the goal should always be, whether I'm at a 4 or a 7, how can I be better? That is our goal, to give them sort of benchmarks and help them keep improving and figuring out what they can do where they're at. Our job as teachers, our goal as teachers, wherever they're at, is to help them learn. What are we excited about this year? It's a little different than my usual slide here. Creating new opportunities for student learning through technology. Our ability to use Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all these programs, and Mr. Sam's finding this smart music and playing around with just different ways to engage the students through technology, help them to use technology, teaching them new skills, because the reality is our world is going to be different after this pandemic than it was before. Nobody knows exactly how, but I would bet a lot of money that the ability to use online communication technologies is going to be an immensely valuable skill in the business world and in every part of the world. And so we're excited to help our students develop those skills that we think will really benefit them going forward. Our yearly theme this year is Thrive, and we are all super excited about that theme. We want to thrive in this year, whatever this year looks like. We want our home learning to be robust, our kids to learn well there. When we get back on campus, we want that to be excellent, even if there are limitations to how many people we can have on campus for a while. And our goal with that theme is to make it a year that all of us, teachers, students, parents, thrive. And hopefully to continue improving on how we deliver that and making that work for you guys and for your children. And we're excited about the potential of your children. We're excited about the potential of our school. We are still going forward with plans to do some building additions. And so we're excited that, I don't know when students will be back on campus and when those will be finished, but that we'll have better facilities available here at Blewett Village, and that we will continue improving. And we're still looking for every way we can make this the best year we possibly can. Just a reminder about homework expectations. Our normal homework expectation for 7th and 8th grade is 1.5 to 2 hours a day beyond the school time. That's total. Our 9th grade expectation is 2 to 2.5 hours a day. During home learning, we are going to try to keep that at about half of that. Knowing that sometimes things take a little longer than you anticipate, we are going to try to aim for about an hour of homework for 7th and 8th graders and about an hour and a half or so for 9th graders. If you find, again, that your child is doing, 6 hours of homework every night, please let us know so we can try to look at that and see if we've gone over the top. If you find that they're doing nothing, then they're not doing their homework, because we are assigning work. Different times will be different, but that is our goals, and that's what we're trying to meet, to find a balance of giving students a break from screens and a break from school, but also making sure that they are reinforcing the skills we're teaching in class and continuing their learning at a sufficient rate, especially for those in 9th grade, that they will be prepared to take those IGCSE exams next year at the end of 10th grade. So 7th grade parents, this is still relevant. Please make sure your child has a planner. We will be doing everything we can. You can check ManageBack and see all their work on there and helping them to check ManageBack. But I still believe that having a physical planner is beneficial to 7th graders. Writing down what they need to do at the end of their class, what my homework is, and then you being able to just look at their physical planner, it may make it a little easier for you than checking ManageBack. So I think that is still a valuable, useful thing for them to have. It helps them to stay focused. It helps them to keep track, because they don't have just one teacher like they did in earlier grades, and now it can be a little overwhelming for 7th graders to organize what class do I have on what day and what's going on. I'd highly encourage them to print out their class schedule. It was emailed to all of you earlier. If you haven't done that, you should print it out and put it in front of them at their computer so they can look. It is Tuesday, I have this class. All of that helps them. Having physical things helps them. We have everything online, but I still encourage that. And this will make it easier for you to check in on them, to know what they should be doing, what class they should be in, or what homework they might have. It just makes it much, much easier for you. You don't have to search through everything. All students must have a functional laptop. This was in there before. This is so much more important now. Please, please, please make sure that they have a functional laptop. It does not need to be a $4,000 supercomputer. A functional Chief laptop is fine. It just needs to run Microsoft Office programs, which they can download through Office 365 provided by the school. It needs to be able to have a functional good webcam so they can make videos if they need to and go to online meetings. It needs to be able to connect to the internet. So don't let them convince you that they need a $4,000 gaming laptop for school. They don't, but they do need a functional laptop for school that they can stay focused on and get their work done. Yeah. So a reminder about grading for those of you, especially for 7th grade parents, again, who are used to seeing the junior school grading standards of exceeds expectations, meets expectations, plus, ME minus. In lower secondary in 7th and 8th grade, all we've done is converted that to a number system. This is very normal for schools, for students to get used to a letter or number system of grades. A 7 is really the same thing as exceeding expectations. We have similar grade descriptors on there. A 6 is an ME plus, a 5 is meeting expectations, a 4 is an ME minus. And so even on ManageBack, I've often put that in. If you hover over their grades, you can see what that would equivalent to. And so helping your student understand that, and you understand that if you're checking their grades, again, a 5 is meeting expectations, a 4 is an ME minus. If they're getting a 3 or below, that means they're below that passing line. 4 is the passing line. And so then you need to maybe check in with them and see if they can do some extra or help their teachers. So just so you know what that compares to. In terms of retreat and MSL, this is one of our favorite things about school. Right now, we're not sure when that's going to happen. We still are very hopeful that we'll be able to do at least our retreat, maybe some MSL, but it really, we have to see the safety situation. And again, that's probably one of the reasons Mr. Tim can't be here today, is they're constantly in discussion as the heads of school, assessing when it's going to be safe to come back to school. And then we're going to need to assess when it's going to be safe to go out of school. So we sincerely hope that by the end of the year, we will be able to do our retreat and or our field trips that we've been trying to get going for the last few years and are really keen to do. But of course, our number one priority is to make sure it's safe. So those are all kind of TBA, and we're going to keep watching and waiting to see when the situation clears up and then how we can make that as safe as possible if we get the green light for your students. Just that's all kind of on the back burner waiting for the clearance. But that is something we love. And so I left these pictures in because I want to encourage you, because as soon as we can safely do it, we want to get back to this holistic part of our education program where we're taking the kids and we are bringing them into the community, where we're taking the kids and we're getting them out of school, where we're taking kids and we're giving them opportunities to love on people that are less fortunate themselves, to develop compassion, and to share their talents. Again, retreat is our favorite thing, and so many of the kids have been asking me, "Can we have retreat? When are we going to have retreat?" I keep having to tell them, "We'll see. Hopefully second semester or something, it will be clear enough and we can." But I have these pictures and there's to remind us of this, the great retreats that we've had over the last few years, taking the kids out and doing stuff. As was mentioned in your classes, now that we have the official go-ahead to go to grade 10 next year, and that is still absolutely our plan as a school, COVID can't stop that, or at least it hasn't yet. We have no intention of changing that. We're going to go to grade 10. We are then full IGCSE, and so in part of making that transition, we're transitioning the grading again. So if you're a 7th or 8th grade parent, you don't need to see this, although it will come up. Just to make it even more confusing, IGCSE has its own standard set of grading. This is normal. This is what they will get back on their final tests, and we wanted to make sure that was not confusing for kids. We didn't want kids to be graded on our 7 through 1 system, which is, again, a very normal system for middle school, in grade 9 and then in grade 10, and then they get their test back and it says A star, and they say, "What does A star mean?" It means you're awesome. So you'll see this in ManageBack as well. You might want to take a screen grab of this, or I'll send it to you again in the PowerPoint. But just so you know where each of these line up. An A star, again, is the equivalent of a 7. It's an exceeding expectation. It's the best score they can get. An A is the equivalent of a 6 or an ME+. A B is the equivalent of a 5 or an ME. A C is the equivalent of 4 or an ME-. And it does, you'll notice kind of each level of senior school they get into tends to add a level to the grades. Again, that lets us be a little bit more specific in our grading. It does tend to fall on the grades that are below expectations, but it gives you a higher sense of where they're at. So you know if there's something you really need to worry about. Probably a G is only going to show up if they just didn't do it at all. That is a really, really low level to reach that. Mostly your kids will be getting A's through E's to illustrate where they're at in terms of their level of understanding and what they need to do well and do better at. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that. So if you check ManageBack as a grade 9 parent and you see that, you're not confused. We still have big dreams. We still are excited. We still are thinking about what can we safely do to make our program more holistic. How can we implement our PBL program in home learning and still have the kids doing projects and doing inquiry-based learning. We are still looking at, are there ways we can get them involved in competitions? We are still, hoping if NHD is remote, we're gonna hopefully go and compete again. If we can, we're still dreaming, how can we make retreat the best time of the year for the kids as it really seems to be something they look forward to and make it happen. We don't know exactly what everything will look like. Again, safety is our top priority. Getting kids back into school won't happen until they're safe. Getting kids out of these things won't happen until they're safe. But please, please, parents, know that we still have big dreams and we still are going to do everything we can to make our learning program as robust, as holistic, and as enriching for your students as we can. That is also one of the reasons that if you look over their schedule, we've added back in classroom music. We've put in an extra period of PE. We're trying to make things a little more evened out among subjects. And we're really excited for the potential that we'll have to help them grow and to help them learn. So I think, oh, graduation from a few years ago. It's great to graduate. We won't be graduating anyone this year because they're just going to go to 10th grade. But we're looking forward to the ways that we can do that. That picture makes me happy, that group of kids from our first graduating class. So I will go ahead and pray again just to close us. Again, if you have questions, you can email the individual teachers. At the end of this week, we will send out our usual weekly update, and in that, we'll send in that email the PowerPoint, and hopefully we should have the YouTube video recording of this GLOO as well for you. And then we've got to close because I know we all need to get back to class and you guys are busy. So please pray with me. Dear Lord, I thank you for these parents and their willingness to be flexible, as we all need to be flexible right now. I thank you for their support as we seek to make our school an amazing place for their kids to grow up. I thank you for their patience as we work through technology and new systems, and we are learning things very quickly. And as we really strive to make things better, I pray that they would see that even when things don't work out the first time. I pray for our students, God, that you would help them to continue adapting and being flexible and to stay focused during this time of home learning, that they would engage with it and learn well. And I pray that you would watch over all of us and protect us throughout this dangerous and challenging new time, that you would give the government wisdom, that you give us all wisdom, and that you just keep us safe. Be with us, God, and watch over us in this time. In your name, amen. Yeah, that is all. Again, we are working hard to put grades up on ManageBack for you so you can see them. We're working hard to get our schedules up, and I hope that if you have any questions, you'll feel comfortable asking us. Remember that at the end of every day from 2:45 to 3:30 p.m., all of our teachers are on office hours. That means we're available at our computers, answer emails, and so if you need any extra help or anything, please contact us then. We can set up one-on-one Zoom meetings if we need to explain something, and that is time that we are available. A reminder, please use that time to respect people, just like a normal school day would end at 3:30. I think we sent out in all our emails, teachers will, they'll respond within 24 hours to emails after 3:30, but they will not be expected to respond immediately. So if you need to arrange something, figure it out during that time. If that time is absolutely not useful for you, well, then the teacher and you can work out another time that works for both of you. It just may take a day or two to organize it. So thank you again for respecting that. Thank you for using email to contact us and using those hours so that all of us can find that balance in our lives that we all need in this time. All right. See you guys later.